Epiphany is 12 days after Christmas, and that was last Tuesday, which this year was on January 6th, ironically, and it was the day before Renee Good was murdered. Coincidence? Perhaps. So this celebration that happens once a year is really defined by the three readings that we had. The Magi coming from the east, the birth of the shepherds, the angels announcing the birth of Jesus to the shepherds, and then Jesus' own baptism near the Jordan, where his true self and mission, where he received his calling for his true self. So these stories have certain, and these are not historical events, okay? They are stories of states of consciousness. That's what they're about. And they have certain qualities. One is the sudden realization of some extraordinary truth, something out of the ordinary. It could include the ordinary, but it's beyond. It points to a truth that we aren't usually aware of and don't usually see. And this truth that is revealed, or truths, are transformational. Change your life. And you never forget them. So these are the stories about then and there, and today we will hear the stories about here and now from you. Now, you won't have to tell a story, you're just going to have to say a few words, so it's really quite doable. And you will prepare for the sermon, for your message. The way it all starts by just taking a moment to sit quietly. Take a few deep, cleansing breaths, and we will contemplate these experiences. I know there are people here who have had flat-out epiphanies. Amazing, life-changing experiences of the truth where there is no doubt about it. These where they were seeking. And there are people here who have had maybe not blinding lights or fireworks in the sky, but have had very important insights that changed your life, give you a new frame of reference. You might consider those. Now, if you don't feel like you've had any one of those particularly right now, you can contemplate the stories, one of these three stories, and put yourself in the story and imagine what would that be like to be a magi coming from the east, following a star. What would that be like? What would it be like to be at night counting sheep and trying to stay awake? Or you could identify with some calling that you received out of the heavens, as Jesus did. Imagination works just as well. So as you sit, many things may come to you. Pick one. Just pick one. It doesn't have to be the most important one. Just something that captures your attention. and live into it. Be there. Bring it here. You're having an experience. You're not thinking about what it means. You're not drawing a conclusion. This is before words. Sit and remember, what was that? What's it like? What's the most alive thing? Here and now, what's fresh about this experience? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? What do you see? Just be with it. And I have just received this message from the group, from us. And there's a lot of paradoxes here that I notice. Just starting at the top, there's both a suddenness and a kind of a suddenness and a gradualness. So there's sort of an initial shock and awe that takes me out of the routine that I happen to be in and captures my attention. I see something, I hear something like a star, and it really, and I might have been looking, I've been studying the heavens, but then I see this one particular star that looks new to me. And I don't know what it means. It's important, but I don't know. So there's a knowing and an unknowing. But enough that I'm willing to leave what I have. I'm willing to give up, wherever I'm established and go off on some journey. And I'm slowly guided by this star, which, it's inspiring, but it's also risky. I can't travel during the day. I'm guided by a star. So, it just seems like riding across the desert at night is not the safest thing in the world to do. There's predators out there. There's bandits. So who knows what I'll find or what will find me. But I've recognized something that's significant, and my curiosity is sort of maintained. So I'm going off on this journey. That's an epiphany, and at the very least, I'll be changed by the process. But I'm looking for something more. So I'm one of these people that doesn't. I'm a seeker, but now I don't want to just be a seeker. I want to be a finder. Okay, so there's a commitment that I bring to it. And that's a path. That's a path and a journey. But we have another path here, which is simply listening. It's kind of more passive. That openness and just being in a state of wonder, which is the shepherd's path. Being a shepherd in those days was not the most desirable job to have. This was the job that the families gave the least favored, the dumbest guys in the family. We don't want him running the farm. So Listen, you go out at night and you just tend to the sheep. Doesn't take a lot of skill, doesn't develop any skill, and there's no future in it. So they just sit out there, which is not a very nice place for a personality or somebody with an ego, but it's a great place for the soul, because what do I have to do except listen to God? Okay? So I just sort of stay in this openness. And what happens sometimes? The angel visits me. I don't have to go find it. The angel comes to me with an announcement, with a proclamation. So it's something that here we've just seen. It's not like an experience only one person has had. It's a very common and ordinary experience when you take a group as a whole. It's sort of like we're sitting in our chairs. It's like gravity, Of course, gravity is always present, but we don't pay attention to that. We just assume it. So these experiences are extraordinary, and they're the most ordinary things that are, because it's always present. And the truth, the awesome truth and the awful truth. Just like I was saying, it's risky. It doesn't make your life any easier. Okay? But you may discover things that you wish you didn't know. But you discover them with love. And that's what kind of tames it. That's what allows you to include it. You're accepting it. May not wish it happened, but you accept the truth of it. It doesn't necessarily make you feel good, but it's true. And there's a sort of beauty to that just because it's the truth. Okay? Vibration and quiet voice. There's a paradoxical term, quiet voice. It's not necessarily verbal. According to the story, Jesus had a verbal experience. This is a God saying, "This is my son with whom I am well pleased." Okay? Great, I'm done. What could I get? What present could I get that's any better than that? Well, yes, but you still have to live out your life. And how then shall we live? Okay. The shepherds, you always wondered, the shepherds had to go verify this. You have the truth, but you need to test it and really integrate it into yourself. So they had to leave and go, let's go see this child. Okay. I always wondered, well, what happened to the sheep? And what will happen to them when they go back home and there's no sheep? But so there's costs and risks, and you still have to have some common sense about what you do, I think. But we all want this, so we're always kind of seeking the truth. We read a book, we go someplace, we follow a guru, we come to church. But if you don't know the truth right where you are, how will you know when you find it? The truth that you seek is where you seek it from. Okay? It's within. It's within you. And that's, and I didn't see the word here, but part of my experience is when I see this truth, I always go, I knew that. It's familiar. There's this kind of, it feels like coming home. Oh, coming to safety. Oh, yeah, I knew that. But I had just sort of forgotten it or not paid attention. So there's it's awesome magic, and it's also familiar. And warmth and love, it's not my personal truth. It's true about all of us. It's true about everybody. It's a truth that is shared. We are, what is that? Ubuntu. I am because you are. That I'm more real in relationship than I am as an isolated person. Sudden light and peace. That's often happened, that there's a sort of luminosity. I'm enlightened. There's some light that shined that allows me to see something that's been here all along, but now I see it. So an epiphany is a doable thing. It's something that happens, and it happens, but if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. So keep your eyes open, be open to the possibilities, and you don't know whether it happens, but you can't summon it. You have to be humble about this. It's a matter of grace is always part of it. I'm doing my part, but grace is coming to me also. It's a relationship. It's a shared warmth, but it's shared with the divine. That's part of the sharing. That's part of the relationship. Listening to God. Yeah. I thank you for your message. It's inspiring.
Thank you.
Okay.
You get to sing about it now.
I can sing about it.